and gentlemen, and welcome back to the UKLC. We apologise for that extended break while we were just ironing out a fire. Everything's set ablaze, but we're all good now.
Yeah, we got the fire extinguishers out. We managed to calm everything down. It's all good. It's all good. Whew. It's stressful.
That was a bit of a rough start, but don't worry. We can now get the ball rolling. We can now get going with our 4 games for the day. So, for anyone who wasn't there, let's have a little look, because this is where it all went wrong. Our unsung hero for last week. Make sure he does get his praise for that game. It is Prosper Fnatic support, 8-0-31. This guy, he looked insane on the Shen last week. Just set Fnatic up for so much success.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, this is his KD across 3 games, and that's what makes it more impressive, the fact that he didn't die at all. Yeah. It's pretty crazy to think.
Dude just popped off on the Shen, man. He looks so good. Now, obviously, the team he beat were XL, who are now going to be in our first matchup of the day, taking on Enclave. This is going to be a really exciting one because Enclave, 0 points. You've got to keep in mind, they're a team who previously in the UK were known for consistency. Now, last season was maybe a little rougher for them, but you look at Forge Champions and even further back from that in the past, the team have always been a team that has kind of had a middling performance here in the UK, but have always done fairly well off points. I mean, Forge Champions, they made it...
I mean, they got first in the regular season. They didn't do as well when we got to the live finals of Barcelona, but they managed to go to EU Masters. Did struggle a bit there, but all of UK did. And then it was the fact that last team, although they did have a bit of difficulty, they still managed to be sort of the 5th place team. They were just below those teams who were in playoffs. And I feel like they haven't had the split they sort of wanted so far. They're still on 0 points, which obviously has to be a massive hit to anyone, but particularly with Enclave's history, big hit to them.
Well, we do want to have a little look at our matchup to watch. It is going to be the junglers, the Danish showdown, Scood and Taxa. Really excited to see how these two pair up, because I do feel like they're going to have the most impact, especially Scood. I feel like a lot is on his shoulders for this game, because if you look at the XL's kind of solo lanes, and I mean, not just solo lanes, their lanes in general, on paper, they just completely smash them. But if Scood can set up his lanes for success, he could be the person that could push the win out here for them.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing I'll say is XL have looked like the best team on paper for this split and last split, arguably. And yet they haven't been able to deliver. This split, they've had a great start, but they had a great start last split as well.
Yeah.
And they were privy to upsets. They were privy to not doing it as well as people expected. So although it does look very much XL favored, I definitely think Enclave have a chance. And yeah, it's going to come from Scood. If he can be proactive on the map, I 100% believe they can have a chance this matchup, but they are the underdogs here.
Well, Scood isn't the only player on Enclave. He does have 4 other people with him. So let's take a look at the Enclave roster. Rengus in the top lane, Scood in the jungle, Beely in the mid, Kevo ADC, and Raisins as support.
Yeah, so kept the bot lane from last split if you weren't aware, but that is the full XL Enclave roster, and this is XL, which is Sendo on the top lane, Taxa jungle, Special mid, Sean and AD carry, and Kasing support. Yeah,
bringing back Kianan and Kasing, who've had, let's ignore their tower match versus Fnatic, have been looking scary. I mean, I remember the M&M like videos they put from like their team chat, and just Shogun going, oh, that was Kianan's Hibernega. I couldn't do anything.
It just automatically draws a ban.
Yes, I mean, we are now into picks and bans, so we'll see if it does get taken away. Enclave, obviously on that blue side, and then XL on the red.
Yeah, so we'll wait to see things get underway. Obviously, a bit of a wait. Teams are ready to play, and first ban, I kind of expected it. I didn't want to call it before it came, but I think the fact is you have to ban the Heimer, and it's best to go with it for the first ban, because you have more flexibility with later ones. Sona's actually taken away by XL, and that was a lane that Enclave did play. I believe they played the Sona Tarek.
Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't the Sona Tom Kench, but it is something they're comfortable
maybe they played Tom, actually. I think you might be right.
Someone's done it. They definitely played the Sona AP carry.
Yeah.
And then Yasuo being banned away from Special, who did like to flex that play in the bot lane, and they would move Hyanon. I mean, basically anywhere, to be honest. Apart from jungle, but anywhere else where to get moved. And then the Crocodile being taken away. Not necessarily from Rengus, because Beely did have a performance on this.
Yeah.
And did pretty well in the laning phase. And one big thing that has been left open is the Aurelia. We saw that almost exclusively banned last week, and then it got left open a couple times, and it won all those games. So it'll be interesting to see if XL do ban it away. Remember, the Renekton was a good counter that Beely picked, but didn't quite come out successfully. So if a team gets their hands on this Aurelia, it could be devastating.
For me, the Renekton is actually an odd ban, considering that the Yasuo was taken away by Enclave. It was picked up by Beely as a specific counter to the Yasuo in the mid lane. We've seen it a few times previously. Like, mid laners have this Renekton as a kind of pocket pick. That's giving the Aatrox band away.
I may be wrong, but wasn't it picked into Aurelia?
No, it was picked into Yasuo.
Okay, I mean, it still works into Aurelia, but I mean, I like the Lux. I think Lux is absolutely great in this patch, but this does mean that the Aurelia is available for XL, and I feel like that is a pick they will absolutely love to hand. I love to have. They enjoy flexing it. It's powerful basically anywhere.
Yeah.
And yeah.
All right, well, Lux ban picked up here. Let's look. The Akali, the Aurelia is open. Few bans actually have been put through today, just so everyone's aware. Yumi is being disabled. Mordekaiser has been disabled. Kiana's been disabled. Kiana's actually been disabled the entirety of the UKLC. So if anyone's wondering why we haven't seen that pick, that's why. And there's a few other bugs, but it just means to the fact that we can't have those other three, but that is going to be a Sylas along with the Sivir. Now, I'm expecting this Sylas to go jungle.
Yep.
We're not on 914, so he doesn't have the healing on his W yet off the big minions, but this is going to be picked up for most likely Taxa, but Special can play this definitely. We might even see someone like Sendo play it. And this is the scary thing about XL. They're a team who are incredibly, incredibly good at the at flex picking. I mean, we saw when they first came in, Special went bot lane with the Yasuo, and Hyanan played Corki mid. Then they sent, I think it was Hyanan top lane on the
Karthus.
On the Karthus. Like these guys will just send anyone anywhere.
I will say though, last week they looked like a lot more consistent with where their players were going. They were all in the same lanes. We saw that against Fnatic. A lot less flexes, and so far these two picks to me aren't that flexible. I think the Sivir's obviously almost definitely going bot lane. The Sylas, although it does have an element of flexibility, I think it's just so much better than jungle. We're not going to see that. And then Enclave as well, these aren't flexible picks either. I mean, the calmest one you can argue, but knowing their team, that is a Rengus pick. It's something he likes playing the top lane even before his meta. I expect him to pick it up. And then they have the Ezreal Lux bot lane, which is pretty strong, but I'm surprised to see the Aurelia go through this far, but it puts XL in such a great position because now they pick that up and they can ban away anything they're not comfortable dealing with. But already off the table is this Renekton. Aatrox is an option either, and I feel like XL in a really strong position just to take over the game around whichever lane they put this Aurelia in, which I expect to be mid lane.
I mean, as you can see here on your the bottom of your screen, that's an insanely high pick rate, an insanely high ban rate, and just the win rate. I mean, I've only seen it twice. 100% win rate so far, and I feel like we might be able to keep that up. XL have a terrifying team comp already put together, very skirmish heavy, able to move around the map nice and quick, as Enclave are looking to try and deny a few more things. They take away the Twisted Fate because they don't know if this is Special's Aurelia or if it's going to be Sendo's Aurelia.
Yeah, and if there's anything you don't want to make your skirmishes worse, is a Twisted Fate not to turn up at any point. I do feel like Enclave have really strong poke potential with those picks, and they have a lot of shielding, but the problem is they don't have a ton of disengage yet other than just speed up and run away. And when you're playing against a Sivir, that's not always going to be an option, especially with the Sylas to back it up. I can just imagine Sivir ult, Sylas steals away the Karma ult and shields as well. You will have so much movement speed that there's no way you'll be able to escape from those carries. And I feel like that's my concern right now. So I think Enclave need to round out their composition with something a bit bulkier that can disengage the team comp of XL, because that Aurelia scares me.
Alrighty, well, one more ban here for Enclave. They're taking the time, they're thinking about what they want to deny from XL, and they're going to round out their bans with Ender LeBlanc. So another mid lane pick. It seems to me like Enclave think that this Aurelia is going top, or they want to deny anything from Sendo that they could pair with it and have an answer prepared in the mid lane already for this Aurelia mid. Now, I do want to take a moment just to talk about the fact that Enclave have put together quite a peely team. They've got a team who can disengage with, I wouldn't say relative ease, but they do have the tools to disengage. That's going to be a Fiddlesticks. Is that going support?
I guess support. Almost definitely support. Does give that fear, which is very powerful. And it does mean that, again, they have a lot more ability just to jump onto this backline. And, you know, there is a lot of speed, there's a lot of CC, there's a lot of shielding coming out from Enclave. But the problem is, there's nothing that's going to really stop XL from just running you down, other than, you know, a bit of slow and a bit of rooting. But against a team comp like XL's, I just don't see how effective that's going to be. And any flanks will just absolutely crucify Enclave's composition. I feel like, I'm not sure what they're going to pick up in the jungle. Something like the Gragas might be an option, just to provide that CC that can knock them away, something a bit more effective. They have taken that Corki, which means, again, they have so much damage output, so much poke ability. But the problem is, if you have a composition like XL's and you get on top of them, they will just die. They will just absolutely fall apart, and that's my concern right now.
Well, it looks like Scooter's actually going to pick the Lee Sin, something proactive. We did talk about coming into this game how the junglers have to really set their lanes up for success. Going to pick up a Lee Sin, a champion who, falls off a cliff late game. It's safe to say he does fall off a cliff, but is able to put a lot of early game pressure. So I quite like this for him. I'm going to have to see how Scooter's going to pilot this champion as XL looking to round out their comp. They're also looking for maybe a mid laner, maybe a top laner. We'll see what they're going to go for. And it looks like the Zed gets locked in for special. Oh boy, that's a scary team.
Yeah, that's a pretty hypey one. It is going to make life difficult for Beely on this Corki. Corki has been picked a lot just as a safe blind pick, but Zed is going to make it difficult for him. I do like the Lee Sin pick because it offers that element of disengage. Not quite as good as the Gragas, but it can kick away people who try and run at them like the Aurelia. I think they needed that. They also needed someone a bit bulkier than just a squishy jungler. So I think it was the right pick. I'm just not sure how I think the whole composition fares because top lane, I think I have to give the lane edge to Rengus, but if you get ganked, if you fall behind, you will absolutely get murdered by the Aurelia. Mid lane, I'm concerned about how Beely's going to hold up against this Zed. And then you have so much late game sort of saving graces on your team when you have a Sivir, you have a Zed, you have a Sylas who are just going to have so much damage output. And basically your one win condition as XL is kill the backline.
And I did want to have a little focus onto the jungle matchup. It is our lane to watch here. Lee Sin, you know, very strong early, but I played this Sylas jungle recently. I finally got to give it a go, and his wave clear, his ability just to melt through the jungle is very, very powerful. So I do worry that he's not gonna be really in too much threat of being invaded. He has a fairly healthy with the shield. He gets clear as well. So, you know, I want to talk a little bit about, you know, what do you expect coming out of this jungle matchup?
I think there's more element to make sort of gank pressure with the Lee Sin because you obviously have a lot of mobility, especially in the levels that execute is big. I think if you're trying to skirmish against the Sylas, you're going to struggle because he has that heal when he gets low HP. If you don't kill the Sylas, if he's not low enough for you to kill off your Q, he's going to heal off you. He's then going to stun you and proc his shield. He'll be in such a great position to just skirmish against you. You don't want to get a melee ranger from his Lee Sin unless you can guarantee that you're going to take him out before he can sort of lock you up and get the sustain, which is why I expect Scoot to sort of look for gank opportunities, and I expect Taxer to look to farm, but also counter gank when he has a chance.
Alrighty, well, expectations have been set. We're getting ready to go for our first game of week 3 here. Enclave versus XL. Enclave need to get this win. Remember, they're on 0 points. XL, it's a path of vengeance. Fnatic were on a burning path of vengeance last week. For this week, it's XL. They want to get their spot at the back of the tower. They want to push Fnatic back off down. They want to continue to get those points. So we actually do have a little bit of stats here between both of our jungle matchups. While we continue to talk about that, you can see here games played, KDA and stuff like this, and their rating within the UK on these particular stats.
They have very similar kill participation, bit more CS per minute going over the Scud, but obviously a much worse sort of win ratio. And I think that's largely down to the teams that are following up. But I think both these junglers, I wouldn't give a massive edge to either one of them just off these stats alone, although it does look like Scud so far has been a little more farm-oriented with second highest CS per minute. But in this game, I expect it to be the other way around. I think Tax is going to be the one who has to take up that role. And Scud, I want to see him try and make proactive ganks early, because if you can shut down this Zed, shut down this Aurelia, your team has a chance. But if you fail, I'm not so sure.
These stats can be a little skewed as well. And you do look at the fact that Scud has 2 games played, Taxa has 5 games played. So obviously it will kind of inflate and deflate depending on those as well. So yeah, it is interesting to see there was only 2% between them on kill participation. But that was actually like 4 spots. So all of our junglers here in the UKLC have been very, very active with these fights and these skirmishes with really high kill participations, all in the kind of top end of the 60%.
Which is what you want to see. You know, I want to see junglers being proactive, trying to make things happen. And I think whichever jungler succeeds in that in this game will come out ahead, because it is really difficult when a composition like Enclaves is ahead and they have so much poke and so much CC and lockdown. Like if you run at them, you'll get hit by bindings, you'll get hit by karma slows, etc. But there is still obviously the way to get back in the game for XL, which is a flank, or potentially a 1-3-1 could be devastating. But I think for XL, if they get these carries ahead, if a Zed gets fed, if an Aurelia gets fed, I just think the game's going to be absolutely doomed for Enclave. So they have to have that early momentum, and that's why the jungle matchup is the matchup to watch, because it's going to come down to who impacts the early game better.
Everybody kind of predicted coming into this game that it would be XL's game to win as well. So that's... It's definitely an uphill battle here for Enclave. You know, they're really, really kind of, their backs to the wall. The season's only 8 weeks long.
Yeah.
You know, and they need to make it into, I believe, top 6, if I'm right, to make it to the playoff stage. So
not 100%. I heard it. You know, we'll get that
we need
confirmed
to double
later
check
on.
that, but
Get
there's still a fairly kind of like a lot of people making it into the playoff stages of the season, because I mean we have 9 teams and only 6 of them go through, if I'm right. I'll have to double check, but you know, a lot of teams are at 0 points. 1 win puts you so far ahead of these other teams at the bottom. I think we have 3 or 4 teams who currently have 0 points. I know Envision, Enclave, Barrage. Wait, Barrage win versus Phelan? No, it's Phelan.
I believe it's Phelan.
I mean, I feel like I'm missing someone. We definitely got 3. I can guarantee 3.
Several teams.
Let's have a little look at the predictions.
A number of teams, yeah.
Well, we got some time to fill. Yeah, as you can see, everybody goes for XL. I'm putting them as tower champion, so if Enclave win here, it's a big upset for me as well, because I'm currently leading the charge with points. You can see I got, look at that, 5 points.
I wonder if
with Twitter, mate.
I wonder if 1 week we'll have a prediction where someone hedges their bets and they put like imagine if you put Enclave the first game and then XL for tower champions just to hedge it, so they have the best chances. I don't think we'll ever have that, but you know, it would be interesting. Yeah,
Twitter agree with me, by the way, on Demise versus Darkspawn. That's not one bit of spice. Everybody else is pretty much in agreement, you know. I like to throw a curveball. Always go for a different team on top of that tower. Makes it more exciting.
The traditional thing with League of Legends is that things never go as you expect them. You can always just say, oh, this team's going to win, they're strong on paper. That's not always the case, especially when it is a best-of-1 format. I think that although on paper XL should be better, from what we've seen from them so far in the split, they should be better. There is definitely opportunity for Enclave to bring it back. And I have been a bit critical of how I think that XL's comp, if they get a lead, will run over them. But again, if Enclave can get a lead, it's going to be very frustrating to play against XL. They will, however, have to be very vigorous to make sure that they don't get flanked, they don't get engaged on, because it will be punishing. And XL are the sort of team who will look for those aggressive plays to get back in the game.
All right. We will, just for you guys at home, obviously it's been a long break before we got into the game, and now this post-game segment itself has also been a little bit longer. We are just ironing out the last of these issues. Those earlier problems are still bleeding in a little bit into this moment, but don't worry, there won't be a break. We are getting ready to go into the game nice and quickly, hopefully soon. But for now, you get to talk to us for a little bit longer. So, you know, I want to, you know, speak to you guys at home. Make sure you do get involved over on Twitter. Use that hashtag UKLC. Otherwise, our guy in the back, Lee, who finds all these tweets and brings them up onto the stream for you, he's unable to do so. Tweet us some memes. I want some memes. Like, I'm literally at the point where I think it's taken us about 35 minutes to get into the first game. My brain is starting to melt, so just send me some memes. Obviously, they've got to be kind of stream friendly, so don't make them bad, but bring them up, and then we'll try and get them on the stream.
But going back to that Lee point, if we don't get tweets in using the UKLC hashtag, then Lee won't have a job, and he might end up losing his job here, not having anything to do, and that would be really sad. Yeah. That would be really unfortunate, so make sure
you can go back to comedy, though. The dude was actually a stand-up comedian. He's the funniest one in the room. And he goes through your tweets.
I don't know where you're going with that
I don't know where I'm going with that.
It's been a long pre-game segment.
I just feel like he should be there, not you, and then he could be funny. And then you can go through tweets, because that's all you do. You know, as soon as we're off camera, he's on Twitter just scrolling.
That's part of the job.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
All you do is talk on the camera and say, like, wham, bam, bibbidi boo.
Yeah, that's literally play-by-play, man.
And then you turn up and you're like, oh, what champs are good this week? Is Teemo meta yet? And I'm like, dude, come on, keep up.
Of course he's meta. I'm waiting. We had Garen, come on. Like, we had Garen last week. You never know. As we, through fire and bug splats, we finally made it to game 1 of the UKLC Week 3, Enclave versus XL. Oh boy, let's watch some League of Legends.
Let's watch some League of Legends. It's what we're here for. It's what people do tune in to the show for, unsurprisingly, and we finally get to. Both teams trying to go for a sort of a defensive start. A big thing has been getting this ward next to Raptors, and it looks like XL are trying to defend against that by having Taxa positioned there. But Billy and Scoot moving in. They'll clear that ward out, but they won't go any deeper.
They're rocking on the wards right now. It's 20 gold they've got over XL right now.
It's free money.
That's like 30 gold off a pot.
Yeah. Oh, and also Kevo got a Klepto stack. Klepto stack. Whenever I play Ezreal, I always invade just for Klepto stacks. That's the only reason. The great one is when you get like 2 bags of gold before you're even in lane.
Oh, so good.
And you just minted.
Your base. Get yourself a part of your tier.
It's full build. You know, there's like a 0.00001% that when you get a Klepto stack, you just get a full item.
That's not true.
No, it's not. Can you imagine?
Stupid.
Can you imagine? Oh, Vade comes in, but they are on a ward.
Yeah, Taxa's fully aware that this is happening. The rest of XL rotating up, and actually, Sendo Being spotted out. Everybody's a little split on what's going to happen here as Taxa goes in with the chain slam special on that flank as well. They force Taxa away, but it's Enclave who are now pincered within XL's jungle. The stun connects onto 3 members and Beely forced to flash away. Taxa comes in. First bug gets picked up by Kasing and XL finds 2.
That was not the play. That was not the play at all. Gotta say, it was a great stun coming out from Sendo. Triple stun on all 3 members involved in the invade, but Enclave, they went in, they didn't have the full information, and they end up getting punished massively by XL. And we said, if their comp gets a lead, they will run away with this game, and that's a pretty good start.
Is Taxa gonna have to smite here? I think he is. Oh, that's a little rough. He's actually, from the amount of health he lost, he's actually in a not particularly the best situation, but you know, with his shield on his E, should be able to keep himself nice and safe. Also gets 2 procs on the passive as well, gives him AoE damage. His chickens just melt in this situation. Scoot, however, did base because he died. So at least he comes out of full HP for this early part.
Oh, always looking at the right sides of things. Will be on higher HP than Taxa, but is behind in the jungle already. Taxa has moved on to those Krogs, and then obviously the chicken's still available for Scoot, so will be a bit of an XP lead. And actually, remember, Rengus is without his flash, so there could be a potential to go up top lane for a flank, but as of now, there is a ward covering that Tri-Bush, so may get caught out if he goes for that.
You can see Sendo has a full level over Rengus as well at this point. 10 CS lead at 3 minutes. Really rough start for Rengus. He's having to play a bit further back, is afraid of what Sendo can do with that Conqueror.
Well, the big thing as well is that Sendo didn't end up binning his flash in that level 1 invade. So he's still in such a great position. And I really would not want to be flashless against Nireli. Will be cool now. Should have a decent amount of gold. I just wanted to get some extra combat stacks and obviously refill his corrupting potion.
What's quite interesting, actually, if we do look towards the bot lane, is because Kasing got that first blood and an assist, he's upgraded his support item already. So he is going to be getting the cash so much quicker than Raisins at this point. You can see already the crabs getting started up by Taxa towards that bot side as well, so a bit of pressure from XL onto this bot side of the map. There is a ward, though, being placed down by Enclave, which means that if Taxa does try to make a move here, he will be spotted out.
But this is a difficult thing, is that XL just have complete control, because since that early invade, Scooter is playing on damage control. He just has to pick up as much farm as he can. He's clearing the wolves here, but he still has his Raptors to do, and meanwhile, Taxa, because he has more lane pressure, he can afford to be aggressive. He's going to head over to his blue. That top scuttle's still up, and I don't know if Scoot is fully aware, but he's just going to head over to his Raptors, and he's playing on the back foot throughout this early game. And when you're playing something like Lee Sin, this is not how you want the game to be. You want to be able to make those proactive plays, and he just came for that rough invade at the start.
Yeah, it was an optimistic invade by Enclave, and it has cost them a lot here in this early stages of the game. Ascendo does land a stun onto Rengus, just blade surges forward, throws out a W to try and get a bit of damage off, and he jumps back in onto Rengus. Still has that Conqueror to work with, lots of damage. It's going to be used there.
Gotta care for those minions though, and that's a big thing, is that Rengus, once he gets a bit tankier, he can kite around Sendo pretty significantly, but if the burst is there or a gank from Taxa, that's where you gotta be scared of him and a bit careful. Will recall now, should be able to buy and then TP back up. Oh.
Special's doing a lot of damage to Beely. Oh, he actually jumps forward here just to scare him off, forces the Valkyrie out.
Yeah, remember, no flash available for Beely from that invade. So if Special was to look for something like a flash, E-auto, and then ignite, that potentially could have killed Beely, even with the exhaust. So does Valkyrie away, but just good pressure from Special and absolutely knowing his limits in that situation.
Taxa gets complete crab control as well as he gets his second crab that spawns up. Wait. What does Fiddlesticks actually throw out with that skin?
Let's observe.
He's already thrown it, but
next time he throws it.
I'm curious. There you go.
It's like a robotic.
It's like, I don't know what they are.
I don't know.
A drone is what I'm getting told. That's actually probably what it is.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was like a saw.
That'd be pretty cool.
You know what? It looks like
it feels like a saw.
Yeah.
When you get hit by that in lane. When it bounces, and it bounces through the minions and then hits you twice, and you're like, that feels good.
Special not 6 yet, but he actually jumps in, instantly gets it. The death mark comes down. Beely low, uses the exhaust, misses out. The tower shot's not going to be enough to ignite. Burns, and Special finds himself a kill.
Perfectly calculated. Even with the exhaust, it was not enough to slow Special down. The ignite ticks, and he ends up getting a solo kill. And Big part to having that early advantage, getting the kill in the invade, and also being a bit ahead in items. If it'd been a different invade, a different situation, I feel like Beely may not have died because it was so close in terms of damage. Either way.
Oh, Vanguard's Edge connects onto Rengus. Sendo jumps in forward, misses out on the stun. Rengus tethers him up, and Sendo jumps back in one more Blade Surge. Has a lot of damage to work with, but not enough, and Rengus able to make his way out.
So it's interesting, we've seen a lot of flexibility with Karmas. We've seen a lot of AP Karma top. We've seen the tank Karma top. And so far from his build, Rengus has opted to go for the AP build, which I think is a bit interesting when you're up against the Aurelia, because I feel like that makes you so squishy. If Sendo had hit that stun, you die. And I feel like that's all he's waiting for. He just needs to hit the stun, then he ults, and you absolutely die. And we'll see a replay of that. So obviously Special's very close to hitting level 6. He waits out, turns around, and then I believe a minion dies to the other wave. Goes up the ult, does land the Shuriken on the back end, and then just with the Ignite, the Death Mark is enough to take him out. It was very close, and that Shuriken coming from his shadow was absolutely crucial in him getting that kill.
Scary stuff as the Zed will snowball, and obviously Corki is a champion, he needs to get his items. That Triforce is quite expensive, and now being 0-2, being down 21 minions to Special as well, just means that he's going to be so far behind the power spike, because Special working towards either the Ghost Blade or the Dusk Blade as his first item. I think it's typically the Ghost Blade people have been picking up.
Yeah,
as a priority one.
Gives a lot of roam potential, gives the passive movement speed out of combat, but also the active. Very useful. Interesting, so we've seen Rengus go this AP build. I have seen it a lot when there are range versus range matchups in the top lane. I guess against certain melees, you could also use it to punish, but to me, I don't feel like Aurelia is one of them. I don't feel like she's the sort of champion you can keep at arm's bay and just poke down. And I think when you're going to squish your build like this, I absolutely think that Sendo has a lot of kill potential, so Rengus has to play this lane really effectively if he wants to stay alive.
Rengus actually trying to jump in on to Sendo, but Sendo with a W is just able to block out some of that damage, and I think as soon as that Vanguard's Edge gets achieved, he might just go for the play. Scoot, I don't think was seen on that ward as he is picking up his blue buff.
But if you look at the vision in the topside river, there is the Scuttle Crab that's been taken, there's a pink ward that now Rengus is looking to clear out, and this might be the bait.
That's going to be the tether on. Scoot has 6. He's looking to find the mark. Misses out on the Dragon's Rage. Stun doesn't quite find it. Opening either, but Taxa was waiting in the wings, so would have been a 2v2, and maybe it's for the best.
Yeah, I think absolutely, especially since Taxa has hit that level 6, can steal away an ultimate. I would not want to mess with him and the Aurelia right now. There's a lot of burst that could come in one of those targets, and I feel like Rengus would not have the shielding or healing to keep alive through that.
So for anyone who hasn't played Sylas into the likes of a Corki or a Karma, the way it works is he gets 1. For the Corki, he just gets all his rockets. I think he gets 6 rockets, if I'm right. And for the Karma, he just gets 1 of her empowered abilities. As you're going to see here, he hijacks it, gets the mantra down, Special, chasing in. The shield will not be enough as Rengus goes down. Sendo picks that kill up.
Yeah, and Rengus just... There's not much you can do in that situation, but you have to read the map, be aware of the movements from Special and Taxa. Doesn't matter how tanky you could have been there, no matter what items you build, you would have gone down in that situation.
Oh, that's the kick onto Special. He has that death mark, uses it here. Scoot jumps away, tries to get the damage off. The Ignite is ticking. That's going to be the death mark. Not enough to find a kill onto Scoot. And Special is able to walk away for the better.
Yeah, and you absolutely take that for the side of Enclave. You force Special back, you burn his ult and Ignite. There's a lot less kill pressure on Beely, and all they used was the exhaust in return.
Yeah, so Beely did burn the exhaust.
For the Ignite and the Death Mark, I'd take that. You have to be careful now, though.
All slows do connect in with the chains. They get the tether down. Beely takes a lot of hit damage, but Taxa is able to walk away. We'll take a bit of poke on his way out, though.
This is one of the big downsides of playing the Corki with exhaust instead of teleport. Under normal circumstances, TP is the go-to summoner spell for a Corki. You would just be able to recall and come back to lane, but now he's a bit low on mana, he's in a difficult situation, and he's not in any environment where he can just back off without losing plates on his tower.
Yarden has Kasing with him now.
Kasing has ult. That's a big thing.
Kasing does have that Crow Storm available. As he's
Coming
starting
in.
to channel it up. Kevo is going to be feared. They're jumping away. Actually, they turn their attention to Raisins as he just gets toasted. Kiana picks the kill up.
Yeah, it's the easy target to go for. You look for the Lux with no mobility. Easy pickup and good play coming out from Kasing and Hyonin. And they're going to try and defend the tower, but it takes a lot of poke for that, and they still end up losing that first plate. You can see the gold lead, 4,000 already for XL. That's a lot.
You are correct. So you can see where that gold spread is currently on the top side of the map, the bot side of the map, the middle, and the jungle.
Yeah, it's
quite evenly spread out. As Scoot is actually looking to pick up the Scuttle Crab here. Does have Beely with him, but it's like a big Scuttle Crab.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I'm fairly certain that's what it is, actually. I'm fairly certain, like, lore-wise, Rift Herald is just a large
Is it like when you hear stories about people putting alligators down the toilet and then they become, like, giant in the sewers? Is it like one of those? Someone put a Scuttle Crab down the toilet?
You put your pet crab in the void.
Okay, and it becomes that.
Yeah.
Okay, Special and Kasing going to move over and actually force Scoot away. So a bit of waste of time, but also now Taxa is in a position to start off this objective. And things are going from bad to worse for the side of Enclave. This team composition needed to keep ahead if they wanted, you know, be able to withstand the engage pressure from XL. But at this point, they haven't been ahead, ever. And I'm not sure they will be at this rate unless XL makes some mistakes and Enclave are able to punish.
I mean, so far, XL have been a team that haven't really made too many mistakes. They left a few openings versus Fnatic, and Fnatic were able to punish them. But so far, it's been a very clean game by XL. They played out that invade really well because it started in a terrible situation for them. The good rotations ended in them getting themselves a more favorable situation as Sendo is cutting off Rengus' escape, just clearing out the minions with that Blade Surge. The rest of the team might just see if they can find an opening. That Crowstorm is available to Sing in a second, but he is going to follow up the base. Scoot is going to take this time to pick up the Cloud Drake for his team.
They got something, you know. They got something. It's a Cloud Dragon, not the most impactful, but they got something. Scoot finally able to make something work for him. But now, Special's coming down bot. That's not where you want to be.
It's 2v1, but I don't... sorry, 3v2, but I don't think that's going to be enough as Hyanan jumps in. The Light Binding finds its mark. Actually, a lot of damage on the Special, and he's just deleted. The shutdown gets picked up by Scoot as Kasing joins into the fray. The double teleports are coming forward, and the fight is going to continue here. The Binding instantly finds its mark. The stun goes wide. Sendo is shut down by Beely, and now Enclave have found their opening onto everybody. Taxa has stolen away the rockets, and that's going to be a kill by Kasing on the back line of the fight, but they are still chasing, still hunting XL. Walk away for the worst from that fight. And Enclave, what a turnaround.
What a play from Raisins. Those two bindings were absolutely so impactful in that fight. He manages to find out a Special, denying his ultimate. Died without using it, and then as well...
Raisins gets the damage. The Zhonya's is used. Beely has those rockets. Not going to find his mark as Hyanan body blocks it.
And then just as I'm praising him, again, he finds another binding. Raisins is so on point with his looks. He ends up taking out Special. He perfectly times it when Sendo comes in for the TP. He absolutely delivered there, and is giving me hope for this Enclave lineup when he's playing like that.
Yeah, some seriously solid play. We actually didn't see too many plates go down, apart from the top side being a full take.
Yeah.
Outside of that, we didn't really see too many plates go down in that plate phase, so a lot of potential gold denied. We just see Special just gets one shot. He's just gone.
Out the fog of war, no way for him to flash shot or even use his shadow. Gets bursted through, and Raisins didn't even expect him to go down that fast. And then Kasing flashes in, but a bit of a dangerous situation when there's 4 members. The TP saves him, but then Raisins again, a great binding onto Sendo, and he essentially dies almost instantly. But here at the back end, the bouncing silence. And then I believe that was a rocket from Taxa that just tipped it over the line. So like, Scoot went down. A lot of poke coming back from this lineup of XL, but they just managed to get 1 kill in return, and they absolutely lost out in that fight.
Now look at the ults that Taxa's going to be wanting to steal. Obviously the rockets are nice for the poke stage, but not particularly the team fighting ones. That is a final spark. That's the one he wants to get himself for these big team fights. It was actually the comment on Kasing that picked that kill up.
Yeah. That is a thing. So that's pretty fortunate for the side of XL, because otherwise that would have been a pretty heavy loss if they didn't manage to pick up at least that kill on the back end. Comet does come back up and then timed perfectly to take out Scoot. And Rift Herald going to be dropped here by Taxa. Really, no way you defend this tower.
I actually don't think they needed to use Rift Herald here.
And they won't get it in.
Oh, okay,
they did. They just got it in time,
All right, so maybe they can get the charge off onto this next one, as Taxa will take that kick to the head. True shot lands onto 2 as well. That's going to be the kick. Scoot comes in, has the insect, tries to find the mark, uses his flash and just wastes it.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the thought process from Scoot. He was trying to force Sean and Spell Shield, but he was not going to fall for that one. And in the end, he ended just walking off the kick. So actually a pretty heads-up play from Hjarnan, and Scoot goes for something pretty ambitious that doesn't end up paying off.
All right, Loon's Echo has now been finished up onto Rengus, but Triforce Tiamat for Zendo.
Look at the CS difference in the top lane. And this is why I'm a bit surprised that you opted to go for this full AP build, because you cannot stand up to this Aurelia. At least if you're tanky, you can sort of survive a bit longer. Yeah, 3,000 gold difference in the top lane. That's really...
17 minutes, by the way.
Yeah. There's nothing you can do against this Aurelia. You're just going to get absolutely murdered. All you can do now is you're just on wave clear duty in the side lane. And special. Oh, no.
Oh no, Rengus has been spotted out and Zed is hunting him down. Jumps in forward, throws down the death mark, and Rengus, his time has been spelt as pop goes the weasel. Rengus is down and Special finds his third.
I just don't understand what the game plan was for this Karma. You know, you put it up against the Aurelia, you go full AP, you're now just going to get bullied in the side lane by anyone who wants to come and get free gold, whether it's the Aurelia or the Zed. It just really, I don't understand the game plan.
Flank! Here comes the Crow Storm. Raisins is going to flash away. Sendo misses out on the stun. And Enclave burn 2 flashes, but are able to walk away alive.
Yeah, but definitely a victory for XL. They get both of the bot lane flashes just for a Crow Storm from Kasing. And now this bot lane has to be even more careful. The engage from XL is huge, and that shows off why.
Special, in the meantime, is just doing what Zed does best. Gets fed and then just sits in side lanes, and no one can 1v1 this guy, so he's able to split push these turrets for days.
And that's the thing, is that Sendo can go bot lane and go up against the Corki. Beely has no TP, so it's not like he can assist them, and Rengus will just die to Special if he's left alone. His ult's coming up soon, and he's going to potentially look for a play again.
Kevo, you're in the base, mate, in the shop.
Yeah, did you not notice?
I mean, this is setting up for the 1-3-1. You talked about it a bit in Champ Select. Kevo has a fairly weak minion clear here, and the Ghost Blade's been used by Special. Does dodge out the binding with the death mark. Instant kick away. Special pings back. Final Spark does not find the opening. And Special's able to make his way out.
Yeah, and it looked like Enclave may have punished him there, but he's able to go back to his shadow. And in the end, it's just all a bait. XL take the mid lane tower, and they are really starting to put the hurt on. There is such a huge gold lead in this game. I'm struggling to find the way that Enclave get back into this. It has to be a massive misplay from XL. The one thing I will say is there are a lot of squishy members on that XL lineup, so if you manage to find the burst or the right target selection, yes, you can punish them. But if XL play it smart, this should be their game to lose.
See the Essence Reaver finished up onto Hjarnan. He's building towards that Infinity Edge. Should be relatively close at this point as well.
It's going to be a lot of burst.
It's going to be a lot of burst. And it's the wave clear at this point. He's going to be able to clear out these waves so fast. And, you know, Sendo also has exceptional wave clear with just constant blade surging through the minions. The 1-3-1 is going to be really hard for Enclave to deal with. We saw they were able to find that punish by shutting down Special earlier with the great bindings by Raisins. And that's exactly what Enclave needs to pull this game back. But the problem I'm having is I don't know if XL will be putting themselves in a position where a 5-on-5 team fight is even going to be an option. They'll probably just pressure the map out.
Exactly, and if they go for a 5v5 team fight, it's hard. It's definitely hard, but there is a slight avenue with great mechanical outplays and some faults on XL's side that Enclave could take a team fight. But if they 1-3-1, I really just don't see how Enclave get their way back in this game unless there's some massive overextensions from XL, and even then, I'm not sure how many members you need to take down Special because they didn't before when there was 4 on a tower, so I'm not sure how many you need to be able to punish him here.
You just have to deal with a Aurelia, who now has the Titanic Hydra, almost Flame Horizon your Karma. That binding's not going to find its mark. Taxa does miss out on the stun. Now Scoot looking for something with the kick, but won't find a mark. Doesn't have flash, so Insect not quite available yet.
And it's just Scoot trying to get control back of his jungle, but you have to be careful.
Oh, that's the flash fear into the chains, and down goes the death mark. Special picks his kill up. True Shot Barrage clips onto Special on the end of the fight. The XL are just executing members left, right, and center.
Yeah, really great play coming out for them, and now they're looking for more.
They've got the rockets, they've got the binding. The final spark is going to be enough. Into the Vanguard's edge onto 3. It's a 1-for-1 so far in the fight, but the Crow Storm is used. The fear is forever. Hjarnan is just cutting through members with all of the spinning ricochets. Not going to go for more for the moment. They might just pressure onto the turret.
And this is just XL's game. They are so far ahead, so much in control. They choose when they have the fights. They choose when to engage. And Enclave, they're just there to fall apart in their wake. Sing gonna try and get some control off this Baron area, just after Sweeper. And that may well be the next objective, but there still is an element of risk. That is possibly the only way Enclave have a chance of coming back in this game, is if they get a great team fight at Baron. But
if they get a great team fight at Baron.
It's a big if.
It is a big if, as Beely actually might just be getting caught out. He uses the Valkyrie, the package, to get away. And as the bases are coming down, I did want to quickly toggle the vision, but it looks like Enclave are slowly going to bring it back, because contesting Baron means you need vision. Thank you very much, observers. You can see that is Enclave's vision so far. They have nothing at the moment. That one ward they just placed down is blocked out by the pink ward as well. They are moving in. They are pressuring up to try and get some vision. XL as well don't have the greatest vision currently. They do need to try and play some better vision.
Well, that's the thing, is that they just went for a big reset. They've stocked up on wards. They are now going to push back. And here is the thing they do first. They push up the mid lane. So now someone from the side of Enclave has to answer that mid wave. We'll see Kevo most likely move over to pick it up. And now, because they have a man advantage, XL are free to move over and get control of this Baron area. Now, what Enclave have tried to do is find wards in places that won't be checked by XL, but so far it looks like they're finding them.
He's going in with the Ghost Blade, pops himself the shield, looking for Scood. Beely's already Valkyried over the wall. Scood flashes forward. That's going to be the death mark onto one. The Dragon's Rage to kick him back, and he pings back. The True Shot Barrage clips onto a couple of members, and Beely now pumping that damage out onto the members of XL. The Boomerang Blade goes a little bit wide, and Beely, he's going ham, he's going aggressive, and he finds a shutdown. Enclave find their punish.
So much damage coming out from Beely, and just overzealous. They look for the Lee Sin, but Scood buys enough time, does enough damage to special that he's out the fight, and then Hjarnan doesn't even respect them, opted to keep his flash in that situation, and ends up going down. And the big thing, as you said, is the shutdown gold. Get some of Hjarnan, but if you look across the board, there's still shutdown gold for Sendo, still for specials, still for Kasing. A big team fight where XL misplay, and Enclave definitely have a chance to get back in this game.
Sendo is 11 minions off Flame Horizoning at 23 minutes.
Yeah, that's
He has an 89 CS lead.
That's concerning. And the thing is, it's not even like Sendo has been stealing away. Sometimes you have environments, particularly with champions like Sivir, where you steal away from your other teammates. You essentially deny them by just picking up as many waves as possible. But look across the board for XL. Everyone has got a ton of farm. Like, there's 240.
Oh, this might just be the end of Rengis, looking for that flawless duet, looking for the stun. Does find it this time. Has his ulti. Can look to throw that out, but he's just scaring Rengis off, showing what he's capable of doing.
That is scary. He's so bulky now as well. And AP Karma just doesn't do that much sustained damage. You will never cut through Sendo. Your only way of killing him is if you manage to massively outplay him on a tower and he takes too many tower hits.
Well, this is going to be the Flame Horizon here for Sendo, unless he drops a few. 2 minions. There it is. Once he gets his cannon, he's got the Flame Horizon. 24 minutes. And Sendo has a Flame Horizon.
But just look at the CS across the board for XL. That is the big thing that's powering this goal difference. The towers, which are 6-0, and also the fact that every member is pretty far ahead in terms of CS. Even the supports, Kasing's got a lead, which is pretty surprising, but I suppose that's what happens when you steal them, when you throw in crows at everyone.
Or drones in this case, apparently.
Yeah.
Can we call it Drone Storm then?
Hate when drones steal my farm. It looks like XL will stop this Baron. No vision. I mean, just look at the vision. They do use a True Shot Barrage, so they know this is aware, but they have to be so careful walking up.
I mean, like you said, they're squishy, though. The Baron does a lot of damage to them, so it scares them off. Scoot looks for the kick. That's going to be the on the hunt. A massive Vanguard's Edge into the Drone Storm. Final Spark comes down, but Hjarnan has already got a double kill. Now they're looking to chase onto Taxa, but he jumps away. Sendo lands a 2-man stun, and XL will walk away happy with just the 2 kills.
Yeah, it's still a massive advantage for XL. They get those 2 kills, but this is a vulnerability. No one is tanky enough to go tank that Baron now. They are all very squishy, and there's a lot of poke coming out from Enclave, but this might be an overstep.
Hjarnan throws out the Boomerang Blade. Now he's looking spell shields for the Rockets as they try to get the slow. Special jumping in, tries to get that damage down. The stun's going to connect, and Hjarnan finds himself the kill. XL hot on the heels, though. They are looking for the Enclave members. Kevo and Beely are just going to have to walk away as Drake might just be on the cards for XL.
Yeah, Ocean Dragon definitely going to be advantageous. If you start up that Baron and back off it, it gives you the sustain to heal back up again. Next one will be a Mountain, and that would be an absolute asset to either team if they're trying to pick up these objectives. But right now, XL in complete control. There was a little blip. It was a little blip when they managed to shut down Hjarnan, but the control is back in XL's hands.
Well, I think that's the key thing, is there was that little blip. There was that little opening, and if the gold lead wasn't so big, that could have been a very different fight for XL. So they are showing a few kind of light signs of weaknesses here. Sendo in this bot lane currently for the top laner definitely isn't a sign of weakness. And actually, it's nice to see because there were questions about Sendo coming into this split. You know, we'd had our doubts when we were talking for our prep for the split. We were saying, you know, Sendo, I can't believe they're picking him up still. He's not been that great in the past few splits for this team, but he's having an absolutely stellar season so far.
And that's something he said in his interview with us, is that he's learning so much from Special Yannick Singh, who have a wealth of experience. And that's the thing, is that he's using this opportunity to learn as much as he can, and he's showing it right now. Up against Rengus, it's a sort of matchup against the Karma top where you have to pressure him because a ranged matchup into a melee, if you don't apply that pressure, he will just get ahead. And he has done. He's completely taken over. And now they're using that lead to start the Baron. The Scrino comes out and they will just back off away from it.
Yeah, they are playing with respect. They know that there is a lot of gold shutdown that could pull this game back. Beely now with the Infinity Edge and Triforce is going to do some serious damage on the Corki.
This is the concerning thing for me. It's not just the gold, but the level difference is pretty big. There's a 3-level lead in the top lane. It is a 1-level lead in the jungle. It was 2 just a bit ago, so it is probably going to move that again.
Ooh.
And mid and AD carry, there's just level leads across the board. The exception being support, but that's mostly because Xing's given solo speed to Yarnan. And that's a massive thing, is that yes, there's 10,000 gold difference. That's always going to be massively influential. But level difference as well is always a factor, and it means that your abilities are going to have more points and do more damage, shorter cooldowns, and more base stats. I really think Enclave are going to struggle. They do keep spotting out XL on this Baron, and once again, they force them away. So very good reads coming out from Enclave, to be honest, to keep pulling them off this Baron, and they bought a lot of time when otherwise they could have just lost the game.
Their tools are almost up, though. That final spark is on cooldown. They have no wards available for them for the moment. So they will have to be a little bit careful for future Baron attempts because they don't have the ability to spot them out quite yet.
Yeah, we do see Kevo's closest one is the True Shot Barrage. He will be queuing those minions to shorten the cooldown. It is actually coming up pretty soon, so they have started the Baron again. True Shot Barrage is up in a couple of seconds. I think they should fire that over, but they may not actually be aware they've gone for it again.
The Gunblade is here as well, so that True Shot is going to do a lot of damage while they're on the Baron pit. It might be enough to pull them off. Here it comes, finds its mark, but it looks like XL maybe just try and commit, because Singh over the wall might try and find himself a fear. The kick in, uses the Q, that's going to be Baron picked up, and they're just turning the kill onto Scoot. The Death Mark comes down, the Dragon's Rage back, and Taxa is able to steal it as Sendo finds himself a flank. He's got one, he's 1v4! Sendo is absolutely popping off here! The binding will be enough, but the fear into the Drone Storm will be the end of days for Raisins. 2 members of Enclave stand. Sendo went absolutely God mode there.
And he's just unkillable. Enclave are great at poking, but they do not have the sustained damage to cut through this Aurelia. Super farmed, hyper stacked with golden items, and now XL with that Baron, they're going to cut through Enclave's base.
Well, that's the inhib down in the mid lane. Top lane inhibitors currently being focused. Yarnan just runs towards the bot side. Not a structure will be left inside Enclave's base after XL are done with them. Onto that top lane inhibitor, onto that bot lane inhibitor. Taxa still rocking the Dragon's Rage. Scoot is looking to try and find an opening, but the kick is blocked by the minion, and Taxa jumps forward with the Protobell. Minions are conga lining their way up towards the Nexus, and Sendo misses out on the stun. The binding also going a little bit wide here. Enclave have their backs pressed hard to the wall as only 1 turret remains, and XL need to try and find something, or Enclave will not be able to defend. In they go, because Singh gets himself a stun. A lot of damage is thrown down. Enclave are forced back. That's going to be the end of Taxa already as Beely goes golden. The Nexus is being focused though, and this will be it. XL take down Enclave in 30 minutes.
Yeah, it was a bit slow, but absolutely clinical from XL. There was one moment in that whole game where I thought Enclave, maybe they can get it back, but it was just destructive from XL, and they showed why they're number 1 on the leaderboard.
Yeah, I mean, there were moments, I think the Baron dance was, I don't think it was played wrong by XL. I think it was played right by Enclave. I think Enclave were constantly checking the vision. XL just, they knew this. So they waited for it to go down, and then they picked their time to attack. So I don't think either team particularly played it wrong. I think XL knew that they couldn't go for the fight because, I mean, they could have, but they didn't want to risk it. So they played with respect towards Enclave, and Enclave knew they couldn't really contest unless they were low HP from Baron.
But that's what I like to see. It's not just XL saying, oh, we can stomp you on our lanes and crush you from being better than you. It's the fact that XL, they showed the respect. They didn't want to risk any chance of them throwing the game. And yeah, it was really slow, a lot of back and forth, a lot of pulling off the Baron and going back to it. But in the end, it was a very safe play. And I think that's absolutely what you need to do, because you're in a best-of-1 situation. If you got knocked out in this game one of the day, then Fnatic would almost certainly be able to overtake you in terms of points. So the fact they played it respectful, they didn't give Enclave a chance back into it, I have to praise them for that.
XL know exactly what is on the line. They are on that path of vengeance. They want to get their tower spot back from Fnatic Rising, who, you know, have been able to steal this away from them. But they've got their first step forward as they made it through to semifinals tomorrow. But we're going to cut to a quick break. And when we're back with Barrage versus Phelan. So don't go anywhere. I'll see you in a second.